Hello all and welcome to my channel DevOps Mela. So let's quickly discuss the agenda for this video tutorial. So in this video tutorial we'll deploy ASP.NET Core application on Azure Web App. So if you see my previous video, we have done this many times. Like I have used Azure DevOps CI/CD pipeline to deploy a .NET application on Azure Web App. I have used Visual Studio tool to deploy directly on Azure Web App. But this is different. We're deploying ASP.NET Core application on Azure Web App using GitHub Action. Okay, so let's discuss what all steps we're gonna take, like what all things we're gonna do in this entire end-to-end tutorial. Before that, guys, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and please like, share, and comment. Okay, thank you. So what exactly we're gonna do? We'll create a ASP.NET Core application locally. Then we'll have a new repository created on a GitHub and we'll push the changes, the application code on the GitHub. So all this creation will happen through a Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2019. Okay. Post that, once this is done, we'll create Azure Web App server and we'll set up continuous deployment. Okay. There's a continuous deployment through which we'll be deploying our .NET Web application on Azure Web App. So over here in the continuous deployment, we'll make use of GitHub. Okay. Post that, once the deployment is done, once the initial deployment is completed, we'll set up multi-stage deployment slots. So we'll have multiple web app created and we'll do multi-stage deployments. Okay. And in order to run this multi-stage deployment, we'll create multiple branches wherein we'll have a development branch which will push code in the development environment. We'll have a release branch which will push code in the production environment and vice versa. This is what we're going to do. Post that, at the end, we'll do a swap. We'll understand what exactly a slot swap is, and we'll change it from primary server to a secondary server and vice versa. And we'll understand in details what exactly swap is. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's start with my first step, that is creation of an application. So I already have an application created, but before that, let's understand what is GitHub Action. So many of you guys already know GitHub. GitHub has their own CI/CD setup. So GitHub Action is one of uh, GitHub Action is related to it. Okay, so what exactly we can do? These are few benefits. We can, using GitHub Action, we can automate, customize, and execute your software development workflow right in your repository with GitHub Action. This is what we're going to do now. We can discover, create, and share actions to perform any job, would like including CI/CD. It's continuous integration, continuous deployment, and combining actions in complete customized workflow. Okay, this is very much similar what you do with Azure DevOps CI/CD. You can perform the same thing using GitHub Action. Okay, so GitHub Action helps you to automate tasks within your software development lifecycle. You can automate your software development. Okay. GitHub Actions are event driven, meaning that you can run series of commands after a specified event has occurred. Okay, so it's like multiple tasks are there in sync and you can just trigger the task one after other. This is what a GitHub action. It's a short description about GitHub. Okay, so let's proceed, guys. Let me create. I already have created ASP.NET Core application. So this is my application right over here. I'm not making use of anything majorly over here. This is a default template of .NET Core Web App which I'm using right now. Okay, the only thing I'll make change, I'll just add something in the index page of. So welcome to my ASP.NET Web App. Name it as production. So this is only I'm doing just to differentiate when I create a development and when we do a swap and all. So just for identification I'm doing. Okay, rest I'm using the default template. So when we spin, like when we start this application, so this page will open. So let's see that. Let's wait for a while my application is getting built and while my application is getting started locally. So it's well succeeded. Okay, so it's coming up. It's running on 53024 local port. Let's see what we see. So we should get the index page which we just modified. Okay, so welcome to my ASP.NET Web App production. That's it. Okay, let me close this. Okay, so my application is ready. Uh, if you guys want, I'll put this application on my GitHub repository from where you can clone and you can use it for your practice. Okay, second thing, what we're going to do is creating a new repository on a GitHub. I'm already logged in on my GitHub account over here. I have only one repository, that's a Maven project. Now, I'm not going to create a new repository, even though I can create a new repository directly from here, but I'm not going to do it. Everything would be done using a Visual Studio tool itself. So at the top, if you see, we have an option called Git. Okay, even I have an option over here, but let's go with this option. Click on Git, click on create a Git repository. As soon as you click, I'm at this point of time I'm getting my account details, but you guys may not get an account details over here. Well, don't worry, just click on this drop down, click on GitHub account. It will open the GitHub page wherein it will do the authorization and verification at once. This is one time activity. Once you do it, from next time onwards you'll get your GitHub account right over here. So what is the repository is getting created? It's a web app repository which is getting created over here. If you want to give any description, you can go ahead and do it. Private repository, I'll keep it private, but post this tutorial, I'll make it public so that you guys can clone it. Okay, let's do a git create and push. So see, we got the git attributes and we got the .git ignore. And if you see, there are two changes which I'm seeing right over here, which got pushed already. Okay, now if I just go in my GitHub, let me refresh this account. Okay, so if you see, I have a web app. Okay, I have my information over here, my project information. If you go in pages and if you go in index HTML page, this is what we have posted just now. Okay, so even this is done. Coming back to my notepad, now we'll have to create a web app. Then we'll have to set up a continuous deployment. Now go in the portal.azure.com. This is my Azure Cloud portal. Now over here I have to create a web app. So that is app services in Azure. Guys, I have done this many times in my previous tutorial video. I have covered Git in details and have covered this app service creation in details. So please do check my previous tutorial videos. Okay, I'll just create. I have already have a resource group named DevOps Mela. If you have not subscribed, please do. I'll give a name as Dev Web App. It should be unique name. Okay, we have this name, so I can use this. Okay, that's web app name. It's not there. Let me give some numbers. Okay, so this is a code. We are publishing the changes in code. This is my .NET Core 3.1. I'll select that. Windows is okay. I'll select the Windows operating system. Let me change this plan. Let me go to something for the developer. Okay. So if you want continuous deployment option, so that will work only on production, standard or production or isolated one. Okay, you cannot use, if you select F1, you will not get that out. You will not get an option to create a continuous deployment. Okay, to enable a continuous deployment option on your web app. So we'll stick with this. Okay, so if I go next, so we'll go ahead and enable it. Now this is my old account, so I'll just change the account for now. Again, it is looking for an authorization. Okay, changed. This is the account which I'm looking for. And plus, if you guys want to add, like in my case, my accounts are already added, that's why I'm getting this option. But in your case, you can go ahead and add a new GitHub account. Okay, I'll select my organization. This is my organization. I'll select the repository name. Web app is the repository. Master branch. As of now, we have only the master branch right now. Now, if you want to look what exactly this will do, you can preview the workflow configuration right over here. This is very similar to your build YAML file in Azure DevOps. If you guys are following my Azure DevOps tutorial, we have created YAML for building a pipeline. So this is very similar. What exactly it's doing? It's connecting to the master branch. The push is happening on the master branch. It's setting up a .NET Core. Then it's uploading the artifact. It is doing a publication. Same. It's very similar to what we do in Azure DevOps. Next, monitoring. I don't want this monitoring. Application inside is not needed. I'll just click next. Just review and create. This creation will may take 2 or 3 minutes. So let's come back once the web app is created. Okay guys, so the web app has been created. So the resource is created. So I'll just click on go to resource. It took around two minutes, the max. So if you see the resources created, this is my domain name, the FQDomain. If I go and open this, I'm getting the default page. Okay, but if you go on your GitHub, okay, now if you go in actions, so this is where the actual GitHub actions take place. So if you see, there is a pipeline has already been triggered because we have set up a continuous deployment using Azure Web App. So, and because of the workflow which I just showed you, a pipeline has been created and there's a build and deploy happening in the backend right now. As soon as we have created, once this is completed, like if you see, the web app deployment action is in progress right now. Once this is completed, so this is happening automatically. It's just by adding the web app, what we have added. And this is very similar to how you do a build and deploy in Azure DevOps. Okay, so this is done. The build is completed. So so let's wait for some more seconds till the time it gets implemented. Now, if you come over here in your continuous deployment center, in the deployment inside deployment, in the deployment center, you can even see the logs right from here. Okay, if you see the settings, this is how it is connected to GitHub. This is the organization it is connected. This is the web app repository name, and this is the branch you're connected. If you want to go and see the logs, the exact same logs what we just saw using this GitHub action, you can see it right over here inside log. This was successful. Now let's refresh this page. Here we go, guys. So this was a very easy deployment, Azure Web App deployment. This was done using a GitHub action. So this is one part of this tutorial. The other part, what exactly we're gonna do, we are gonna create a multi-stage deployment slots. So we'll be creating one more slots. So how exactly you can see that? If you come over here in your deployment slot, you will see only one single slot that is marked as production. 100% of your traffic is going over here. Okay, but this is your production slot. If you want to create a development slot, and you can even do that so that all your development works goes on a development slot. Post that, you can move, once that is production ready, you can move it to the production slot. Okay, let's see how exactly we can achieve this. For creation of a slot is very easy. Just click right over here, add slot. We can just name it as dev. So if you see, your FQDN name, that's fully qualified domain name, is getting appended with -dev right away. There are two types: do not clone settings or clone settings from your production. So I'll prefer cloning settings from production. So this will clone all your production application settings, connection string, and those things will get cloned. Okay, so let's click on clone. This is depending how big your application is. This is because in my application there's nothing, it's just a default templates of Azure.NET what we're using. So it should hardly take 60 seconds to clone the entire production web app. Okay, let's wait and let's come back once the clone is done. So guys, the clone was completed successfully. There's a dev slot created successfully, and right over here if you see we have a dev slot right over here, and the traffic is 0. There's nothing. So this is nothing but an additional web app got created. If you want to have a look, if you guys want to have a look, let me click on the app services, all resources. See this app service slot. So this is nothing but it's a app service, a web app which got created. Let's go back. Now if you just click over here, again it will take you to the same. It's similar to web app. It's an app service slot what you have created. You will have a domain name, your FQDN name, and everything. Now if you go and click open this, try and open this, let's see what happens. Nothing. So guys, you're getting a default page of a .NET, a .NET default page what you're seeing. Okay, nothing will happen because we have not integrated any GitHub, or we have not set any continuous deployment for this slot yet. But if you want to do it, you can do it. But if you go in the deployment center, you're getting an option to add a source. So there are multiple places from where you can add a source. You can even add Azure repos. For now, we are referring to GitHub Action. So we'll stick with GitHub Action. But before I go and do this, I need to create one more branch. I'll need to create a development branch so that from development branch, I'll push the changes on this slot. Okay, let's go back to your Visual Studio. There are multiple ways of creating a new branch. You can go and get changes and you can create a new branch. Okay, you can click over here and can create a new branch. The easiest what I can feel, click over here at the bottom, click on new branch, give a branch name. I'll name it as develop, and I'll create on based on master, and I'll do a checkout. I'll checkout branch. So I'll just create. Here we go guys. We have a develop branch right now. Let me go to my solution explorer. Let me go to my index.html page. This I'll change it to development now. Development looks good. Let me save this. Okay, now if you see over here I have one change, so let's go and push this. Added initial dev changes. Okay, so whatever message you want to make, a commit message you want to give, I'll just do a commit all and sync. Automatically it will get synced. Just wait for a while. So what exactly we are doing, we have created a new develop branch. We have made changes to the develop branch application, and now we are pushing the changes. That's it. Okay, created locally. Okay. Pushing. I'm just doing I just clicked on the push over here, so it's writing the object. Okay, it was successfully pushed. I got my commit over here. Now if I go back to my git, to my web app, I should see one more branch over here, develop. Okay, so this workflow which you see, this is for master. For develop, there is nothing right now. Nothing got created. Now going back over here, I'll add the source again. I'll add GitHub source, fetching GitHub information. I'll select the organization. This time I'll select web app branch. This time I'll select develop. .NET 3.1. This is what. If you want to preview, again you have a workflow configuration for your even for your develop branch. Let's go and save it. So we're setting up the continuous deployment over here for my additional slot what we have added plus the new branch what we have created. So this will do the same thing again. Once the setup is completed, it will go in the back end. It will start the CI/CD process and it will deploy the changes on my additional slot. Okay. Now if I go in the logs, see this is in progress. This will take time, like around 1 minute. So let's come back once this is completed. Okay guys, so this was successful. The same thing we can go and check on GitHub Action also. So in this GitHub Action, now if you see, there's one more build and deployment pipeline has triggered, but this time this was for develop branch. Okay, now if I go back to this page, let me refresh this development slot which we have created. So we should get the development page over here. Very good. So this is how we do multi-staging deployment, and we do in ASP.NET web app. Not just ASP.NET, you can do it for any other application, Java, Python. So this is how we do it. Okay guys, so the last thing which is remaining is about running a swap. Okay, so how exactly we do a swap? Okay, so before that, what exactly is a swap? Okay, so if you want, like, it's a very good option given by Microsoft, wherein you can swap your slots as if now 100% of traffic is going at this particular web app. Okay, now you made few changes to this particular web app. Now this particular server is production ready. So immediately if you want to swap it from this to this, immediately using a swap option, you can do it. Okay, so you can validate app changes in a staging deployment slot before swapping it with the production slot. So we made few changes to our staging deployment. This is a staging environment for us and everything looks good. Now we have decided that we can go ahead and move this. Okay, so how exactly we can do that? So let me show you that. Click on swap. It will get your source. So this is your source. Okay, this is your target. So you're swapping your source with your production, your target. Okay, there's an option perform swap preview. If you select this option, okay, so this is for now it's not enabled because for preview you can only be used for site that have deployment slot settings enabled. Okay, so we have to go and enable that, but let me will not do it for this tutorial, but let me explain you what exactly this does. If you do a preview, it does it does the deployment in 2 stages. First it will go and put all the settings, all your configuration settings, your app settings, your connection strings and everything at the destiny, at your target. So the target is this production. It will check if everything works smooth. So you'll get the source over here, settings over here at this point, and you get your target. You can do a last verification whether you want to go ahead and do a swap or not. You can identify that if you agree with it, if all the settings and everything looking good, sorry for that, then you can go ahead and do a swap. Okay, in this case we will simply go ahead and do a swap. We don't have any connection string, no settings. This is a default application template which we are running. Okay, so let's do a swap. and let's see what happens. Again, this swap will take time depending upon how big your application is. Let's wait for a while and come back once the swap is completed. Okay guys, the swap was completed. It hardly took around more than a minute. That's it. So let me refresh this. Still the domain name remains same and production. Now the traffic is going right over here. Now let's go ahead and click on your production. So this is dev web app 123. Let's refresh it and see what happens. Here we go guys. So this got swapped. Now my development page is part of my production now. So this is my production web app URL. I'll just show you again. I'll just copy this. I'll put it over here. Here we go. So this is how swap works. So this is very easy. If immediately, like if you want to do, if you have done your testing and you have done everything and you want to just move the things from your stage to production, if it's production ready, post all your testings and regression test, functional test, what all things you do, then this is the best option which you can use. Or you can take a different route of, if you made changes to your development branch, you can merge your changes with your master branch and you can put it in production. So that is what typically everyone does. So guys, that's it from my end. This was all about this video tutorial about GitHub Action deploying ASP.NET. If you guys like it, please share and subscribe, and please put your feedback in the comment box. I'll definitely go and read each and every feedbacks and will try and implement those into my future tutorials. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. Goodbye.